Okay, folks, here we go. This is the Wednesday 3 o'clock edition, Pacific time. I'm Rachel's Ghost, my partner here, Blake McKenzie, and behind scenes we got my lovely wife Sue doing the heavy lifting with all the links that we have for today's show. So really what it is, I find these 3 o'clock shows, they generally go for about 90 minutes. We kind of cover everything. But like sometimes on the hour show of 12 noon, the political nooner, we go Monday to Friday. Every day is specific at 12 noon, except for Wednesday where we go at 3. Anyway, the big story right now that we're all following is the big, beautiful bill. There's a lot of pork in this thing. A lot of people aren't happy with it. Some good people are not happy with it. But also you've got Ilhan Omar and prominent liberals and Democrats that are against this thing. You've got Thomas Massey's pity party and his cohorts trying to stymie the acceptance. This thing started in the House. They looked it over. They did what they did. It went to the Senate. Senate looked it over, did some more with it. Comes back to Congress for final pass today. And even as we're reporting right now, we are hearing that certain standouts are starting to flip from no to yes. We want yes on the bill. Yes, the bill is problematic. Yes, there are things in it that need to go. But what it promises, the huge tax cut to the middle class, no tax on Social Security. Can you imagine? I'm 67. Do you know what that would do for me if they weren't taxing? And, I really believe this. Like, if you own your house, you shouldn't own any tax on it. No property tax. That's private ownership. You own it. You own it. The government does own it. Congratulations. You're a homeowner. That's yours to have. We'll hit you other ways, but we're not going to hit you on your own. Nobody can take that. Nobody can endanger it. I've often said, Blake, I'm like the 3 little pigs that move from the house of straw, the big wolf. The government comes and blows that down. And it's kind of in reverse, actually. You start off in a beautiful big brick house.
Yeah.
And they blow the fuck out of it. They tax you out of it. I can't afford to live in my gorgeous brick house. I got to move. I'll huff and puff and I'll tax your house down. Then you got to go in the house of sticks. Then you're in your stick house. Then they come and tax the fuck out of that. Next thing you know, you're in your straw house. Then they'll tax that out. And then you'll have no house at all.
And then you're in a tent, in a tent in the city streets.
You're going to be homeless, right?
Yeah.
Mike Sweeney, I'm at the mall watching this by myself. I must be really bored. Nothing boring about this, man. This affects every American. This affects you, Mike Sweeney. There is no tax on tips. That part is still in the bill. I don't know if it's been crippled any. I know there was some talk about that occurring. That they wanted to restrict it just to restaurant workers. I'm hoping that's not the case. It should be on anybody doing overtime. That was the spirit of the president's intent. We've got another rogue justice trying to state that all future arrivals to the United States can't be stopped at the border by Trump. More activist jurists, right? Fucking paddling above his head out of water. This is just criminal at this point, like to my way of thinking. These judges, these rogue judges are just criminal. The Supreme Court handed down its decision. We got to clean this place up. And
you can imagine between Obama and Biden, and then you throw Trump's first 4 years. So that's 12 out of 16 years Obama and Biden have had control of appointing justices to all different levels. So, yeah, it's activist center, or central, I should say.
We got liberal hero Matthew Petty in the house. Hey, lumberjacks, if a tree falls in the woods, nobody's around, did it really fall? Numbskulls, of course it falls, right? It's an objective reality, you fucktard. Use your head, Matthew. You're better than that. Don't go the way of, what's his name, Brad Teal. Think about it, Matthew Petty. A cautionary word for you. Yeah, declare the pennies on our eyes. George Harrison, Taxman lyric from Revolver. Abso-fucking-lutely. Anyway, Matthew arriving hot with an insult. These liberals, they can't stand the squeeze right now. Such a huge week of winning. Did you see the thumbnail on today's episode, Blake?
No.
I want to thank my friend Wolfie. Wolfie, thank you so much for Wolfie. Give me a number of good memes and headlines and stuff. Check this. It came out from Fox News. We got this. The winning is off the charts. In this first term, Donald Trump said, I'm going to win. You're going to win. So you're going to be tired of winning. And I'm not tired yet. I mean, we need a lot more. But I'm going to go to, I guess I got to go to I didn't save this one, so I should have done it, but I'll go into the chat because it's all private. And notifications, where's my little chat? There it is, my messages. Wolfie, baby. He's sending me more stuff. Boy, he's got a lot. But yeah, okay, this is what I want to share. Just the top. This is the thumbnail I chose because it's just incredible. Trump's week of wins. Strikes on Iran nuclear facilities facilitated a ceasefire. At least for 7 days that held. I don't know what's currently going on.
There's going to be a 2-month ceasefire.
A 2-month ceasefire we're hearing now?
Yeah.
2-month ceasefire? Yeah. I mean, anytime you can stop the killing, do it now. Do it now. Right? War is over if you want it. Supreme Court limits the injunctions. Well, we had another idiot try it today. Another Democrat Obama appointee judge trying it. But nonetheless, Supreme Court ruled in our favor. It's great. Stock market has regained anything it lost. In fact, I know that there were at least 2 record-breaking days for the S&P and one of the others. It wasn't Dow Jones, but one of the S&P, NASDAQ. Those 2 broke records. So super red hot markets. Job market growth is happening in the U.S. Inflation is cooling, and it would cool even more if the Federal Reserve would lower the interest rates. Trump's been barking at Jerome Powell. Let's see if that goes through. Tariff deal progress big time. News coming across the wire today. Donald Trump announcing that he's done a deal with Vietnam. This is the first in ages, if not the first ever, where Vietnam. I should make this a little smaller for you kids. Let's see what's going on. Okay, come on. I'm going. But it's just so much is going on. Let me get here. There it is. Okay. There's my thing. But I want to keep that going, actually. I want to keep this going. Okay. Oh, yeah, Wolfie. Okay. Then I go this. Now I want to go here. Okay, that's what I want you looking at. I got to make it big so you can really see what this is all about, kids.
Yeah.
The UPenn agrees, University of Pennsylvania agrees on trans athlete ban, keep the transgender types out of women's sports. I'm transgender. I totally agree with this. Paramount to pay $16 million in 60 Minutes lawsuit. That's a big story. We got more on that. We'll cover that today. And the Trump PAC, they've got these PACs, these groups, political action groups. 1.4 billion is in Trump's war chest. So there's a lot of money there that the president has saved up, reserved to deal with political campaigns, all sorts of stuff. Holy smokes. My neighbors got sent to a concentration camp in the swamp, and all I got was stacked t-shirts sold by the GOP. I want one of them. It's called Alligator Alcatraz, one of the funnest things ever. I just love it. Blake, are you going to get an Alligator Alcatraz shirt? Because the one I like is the one that go retro style, and it's got the alligator and the old black and white stripes, like the old, I don't know, think Flintstones or, the cartoon, not the orange jumpsuit, but the black, classic, traditional stripes, kind of like Devil's Island look. Just fantastic. Holy fire, I just love it. And so I'm going to get the t-shirt. And it says Alligator Alcatraz. I think they're going to sell like hotcakes. I know I want one. We're going to take our little nephew, Bobby. He wants to go. He said, can we go see that? And I go, yes, son. Because he loved what this little guy got. He's 10 years old, bless his heart, the little guy, little nose picker. He loves Adventureland at Disneyland. And he cried his little eyes out when he found out the hippos and the gators there weren't real. I go, look, there's a gator. And he goes, that's not real. And he cried. He wants to go where the real gators are. So we're going to take him to Alligator Alcatraz. I think he's just going to have the greatest time. You know, it's a real family outing. I encourage everybody. And of course, the state of Florida is so appreciative of every tourist dollar you bring in.
Well, I'm wondering if they'll have little alligator stuffies for my grandson. He's 5, so he'd love that one.
I tell you, Blake, the good news about all this is, and you're going to be so happy about this, you know, Trent's just done a deal. He swung a deal, and I can't verify this, unverified at this point, but the great French designer Lacoste is actually going to be a sponsor of some of the Gator t-shirts. So you can get a high-end one, and it's got a cute little alligator. But look for it because they've done a slight modification on the logo. There's a tiny ball and chain to its little tiny alligator.
Oh, no.
It's adorable. Lacoste. Huge. It's just fantastic.
Well, I wonder if they could have with the little gator with a little saying next to it says, "People taste like chicken."
People taste like chicken. Absolutely. So anyway, we're going to check before we bail on the final kind of minute when, you know, we reach that point, that inevitable sad moment when every show comes to an end. But we're going to check in just on the vote count. We'll just see where Congress is with this. I really want to see this vote go through. I want to see the bill pass. I want Trump to have yet another victory for him. You know,
so what are the big hangups on this? Is it the Medicaid thing they keep promoting, that the spin that it's going to kick 9 million people off of
you know
Medicaid?
what it is? It's the gratuitous ego of Thomas Mass, and he's got a little rebellious coup going on with about 10 whole.
Well, he's a cutter. So I'm going on the other side because I'm hearing the Dems are going on, oh, he's going to wipe everybody off Medicaid. And
stop it. You know better. Stop it. They do not need a frickin' rationale or an idea at all. Okay? They need no justification. It's just the fact that Trump's doing it, that it's going to help the middle class, that pisses them off. They don't want Trump to have that feather in his hat. They want to deny Trump every victory they can get, and they're losing on every fucking front right now. And so they deserve it. Praise God, man. Praise God. You're not going the HA on my check, Governor. All right. Trump posting out. Let's go to New York. They got a commie guy in there. He's an Islamic.
Oh yeah, he's.
Let's take a look at him.
It's like they cloned David Eby from British Columbia and said, "Let's run him in New York City."
He's a character. Okay, that's mine. Let's kill that. And I got to go back because Wolfie's got some more good little memes he sent across my desk that are just fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Bada bing, bada bang. You know what's funny, libtards? Liberal heroes, excuse me. I got to show more respect. I love you kids. But, you know, listen, the eating of the people, that's you guys. That's you. They don't want us to eat meat. They don't want to. It's bad for the planet. Farting cows. None of that. They don't want that. Yeah. So anyway, okay, here we go. And this is President Trump says he's not going to let Zoran Mamdani destroy New York City. What's the president say? As president of the United States, I'm not going to let this communist lunatic, listen to that, you liberal heroes, destroy New York. Rest assured, I hold all, and this is Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, needs to learn this lesson. I hold all the levers. I have all the cards. I'll save New York City and make it hot and great again, just like I did with the good old USA. How can I love this president anymore? So ego's in you, lunatic. I'll take care of it. You don't have the power. I hold all the power. I'm the power. You don't have it. It's been granted to me by the Constitution. Fuck you. I'm coming at you. I'm coming for you.
Well, this is an interesting argument because I think he can make a case that's been around for 70, 80 years at least, that the Communist Party was outlawed in the United States simply because they are contrary to the U.S. Constitution. You cannot run a political party that is contrary to the Constitution.
Please,
and it's Bill of Rights, and it's Bill, sorry, not Bill of Rights, but it's, essentially the Constitution with its Declaration of Independence, that is critical. You know, these are pieces that political parties, if they're adversarial to the Constitution in any form, shouldn't be allowed to run candidates. So if you got a communist or slash a Marxist like this guy who wants to build stores that are owned by the state to sell food, that would be struck down overnight in any court of law. Even the most progressive nutcase who understands the Constitution says the government can't enter in and compete with the private sector. I mean, you can't do that.
He's talking about getting into house building, and and they're talking the same thing.
Oh yeah, we've seen that.
Cardi's saying the same thing. Cardi's saying the same commie rhetoric. Oh, we're going to build the houses. Speaking of commie rhetoric, boy, I got some good news coming in. I sure hell. Yeah, okay. See what the last link I put in. We're just going to segue from the clown, the commie bastard in New York City. We're going to go to the EU. This is going to be hilarious, because Carney he's got more of a bird.
That's not the last one.
Okay,
you want the EU?
I want carbon tax, fucking you, because those motherfuckers are going down. And they read it. They know the writing's on the wall. They know Trump has all the cards. They know Trump is the power. And they are caving like a stack of paper cards.
Well, I saw somebody say that Donald Trump may turn out to be the best prime minister Canada ever had.
Yeah, I saw that too. Elbows aren't going to be enough for this one. Get your popcorn, patriots. Holy shit. Major breaking news. The EU just nuked the carbon tax on 90% of their industries. Mark Carney's climate cult just lost its holy temple. We're looking a hell of a lot like the Tower of Babel, I might add. But there's the EU. This is a fantastic piece of news. EU lawmakers agree to exempt 90% of companies from CBAM import carbon tax.
Wow.
So if you take the carbon tax off, this is another huge win for Trump. This is another huge win for liberty. This is another huge win for populism. This is another huge win for the people.
A win for the West.
Yeah. How can Carney stand in the light? Canada is now the only nation kind of in the free world other than China that's got I don't even think China's got one on.
Yeah, but you got to watch those EU suckers, because they'll go and they'll put the tax somewhere else. They'll create it in another form. So I'm sure Trump's finger will be on that all the time. He'll be like watching them like a hawk, because they may turn around and say, "No, we'll take it off the businesses, but now we'll put a consumer carbon tax."
Okay, well, I mean, the point is that the language is going to have to change somehow, some way, somewhere, because I just don't think that when they pull it off carbon tax, because it's too obvious. We're still calling it carbon tax, but we're just moving it from here to here so we don't piss off Trump. Now it's over here. And they're not going to win that fight. The same with Canada. Canada tried to do its digital services tax, which ultimately really hurts the Canadian people. Yeah, it hurts American tech, but it hurts the Canadian people as well, because we're the ones that are going to end up footing the bill. If we're even allowed to have an X platform or a YouTube.
Watch Trump might free Canada up from its supply management is the next big one, because once that happens, Canada will truly be free from so many monopolies in Canada.
What the hell is that? Americans don't know what that shit is. Tell them what it is.
Supply management. Canada has specific industries that are given monopolies, which means they're restricted on how much they can produce to maintain a monopoly on the products they're selling in Canada, for example, dairy. And so they don't allow international imports of dairy into Canada without paying up to 300+%, high 200s to 300% tariffs on those products. So there's a big one right there. It affects food. It affects everything. Now there is an auto sector. That's the part that was kind of funny. Canada had a tariff on the auto sector. Quietly, it was in there. Trump, I think, called it out, and Canada goes ape elbows up because we have a bunch of auto manufacturing that shares cross-border manufacturing with Michigan. And in some cases, it's ridiculous. The vehicles travel upwards of 5 times back and forth across the border to build them. But regardless, it's the system they have. But there has been protectionism on auto manufacturing in Canada. But most of all, the one that most people see is there was also Canadian Wheat Board, where it restricted farmers from selling they had to sell all their wheat through the wheat board. They could not sell it privately. And so, which also restricted their ability to grow other types of cash crops. So it was unless you were growing weed in the background a few years ago, but they would probably
it's government protectionism, it's lobbies, it's interest groups, it's powerful interest groups.
We have it within communications. There's basically a wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of monopoly between all internet and television communications. We have the CRTC, which controls Canadian music and radio content. To have a certain percentage has to be Canadian. These are all control supply management systems that Trump is basically coming in and saying, all of it's on the table, folks.
Yeah, he's going to kill it.
You want to sell your stuff in Canada, then we need to be able to sell everything, including our tech, our radio, our music. Everything goes true reciprocity both ways. And the funny thing is nobody should be screaming elbows up. Everybody in Canada should be screaming yes, because that means our economy will grow that much more powerful. Our taxes will go down because our costs will go down. Because now we'll probably see a stronger dollar because we'd be more in parity with the U.S. instead of this artificially being reduced devaluation of the Canadian dollar just so we could be hewers of wood and drawers of water, resource extractors for the world. But yeah, Trump's winning on that side. As I said, he just got the DST out. He's going after supply management. He's going to do a lot. He'll do more than any other prime minister really in history. The only one I would give credit to is the non-elected Pierre Poilievre, because he did push the carbon tax removal completely, and Carney just took the legs right out of him and said, no, we'll get rid of it through this election. But they call it a pause. Listen to their language. They paused the DST. They didn't get rid of it. They paused it.
Well, until Trump goes away, and then they can get the new president. Hopefully it'll be like Kamala or some other idiot.
That's what I'm worried about with the EU, and all of them are they're going to play the game. But I don't know. Trump's smarter than that. He knows that these guys are playing games.
Trump holds all the cards, and Trump knows he knows. Trump knows. Here's the thing. He knows he holds all the cards. That's why he's talking to the commie in New York. Listen, buddy, I got all the leverage. I have all the cards. Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out exactly how well the president's doing. From what I can understand, Fox News did a thing here. I want to go big on this. Hang on. Oh, this is great. So here's Fox News looking in on, they're looking in on CNN. So Fox, this is like mirror within mirror. Fox looks at, well, anyway, let's take a look. What the hell are they doing? What's going on? Let's take a look. Here's the thing. We go here. We go big. Hang on. Let me go big with this. All right. Why won't you go big?
Bush 41.
Are you guys seeing this thing?
You got to click on in the link so it opens up in your X.
Yeah, I'm trying to fucking make it open up, and it's not. No, it won't open up. Anyway, it's what he's doing. He's comparing the popularity of Trump versus other Republican GOP presidents times past.
I can find it for you.
It's what's her name? I don't even watch Fox.
Laura Ingraham?
No, look at it. It's the black chick. Whoever the black.
I think it's the 5, isn't it, or something?
I don't know. Fucking no. Yeah. Let's play it. Let's make it small.
George Bush 41, 46%. Bush 43, 59. You see Trump the first term 53, but look at this. 63%. He beats all the other Republicans on the board here. The bottom line is Donald Trump is making history with the Republican base. He is more beloved by this Republican base than any Republican base loved any GOP president 5 months in. It is history making.
Praise God. And then we got this one. This is just surprising gold. Now, again, here's one I can't make it go big.
He's sorry.
I wish I could. This is funny. Get this. It's Anton.
Click on Anton there. Just click on it. There you go.
Please. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now. Fuck. I want to make it even bigger than this. How the hell do I get bigger?
He's sorry for being sorry.
Come on, man. See, I really apologize, everybody. I want to make it big. I can't make it any bigger.
Close down the Wolfie one. Your messaging there. Yeah, and then there should be a little.
Applauds government.
There it is. That's it.
Okay, here we go here. I guess this is as big as it gets. Here we go.
He's sorry for being sorry. He applauds government overreach, thinking it's still not enough. He's never raised his voice, unless it's about hockey or milk in bags. He has strong opinions on ketchup chips, and no one's ever dared disagree. He gave his kid maple syrup instead of cough medicine, and it worked. He's been taxed for breathing, fined for shoveling his own sidewalk, and told the carbon in his Timbit is a national threat. But as long as he's got a Molson in hand and the Stanley Cup playoffs on TV, he just nods politely and says, "Beauty, eh?" He brags about how good the Canadian healthcare system is, but has to wait 3 years to see a specialist. He apologized during sex, twice, for the same thrust. He still believes Justin Trudeau's father was Pierre Trudeau. He puts himself into custody for having impolite thoughts. He winces when people pronounce the second T in Toronto. If he gets mistaken for an American, he corrects them while also apologizing. He once got his bank account frozen for donating to a protest and says, "Beauty, eh?" He goes to live in Arizona every March and tells the locals, "Your country is messed up, eh?" He is the most Canadian man in the world.
I don't always drink, but when I do, it's Tim Hortons surrounded by Pajeets. Stay gaslit, my friends.
Holy
In the healthcare waiting room is so ridiculous too, because it's true.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like now. Go to a hospital, it's like nobody's from Canada.
Yeah, I know. You know, and you know, you don't want to. I think, God, you know, we tread lightly here. We're on YouTube, for the love of God. You know,
Yeah.
for how long? For how long? Spock, for how long?
That's right.
But we
Over to Rumble we go.
we're gone. They're gone. Remember that Blake and Rachel thing? Yeah, that's gone. Anyway, 3 great links. I want to thank Wolfie for providing those. But Donald Trump enjoying a 63% approval rating amongst his base. It makes him the most popular Republican president amongst, you know, the Republican Party in modern history, in modern times. More so even than Ronald Reagan. Well, mommy, he's even bigger. Remember Johnny Carson would do the pinch his little cheeks and he'd get all the bloodshot. And he goes, well, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. But anyway.
And let's remember, Reagan had in his terms, I believe he had both houses, I think, were dominated by the Democrats. So he had to really get those guys on side. So
yeah, he was incredible. I mean, I love Reagan too. I was very happy with him. I saw a thing with Stroumboulopoulos. He did a video music thing and he's slamming Reagan, you know, because he's a left asshole. But anyway, Sue, can you bring up Trump wins CBS? Let's go into what happened there. And it's all about, I think it's my second link from the top. Okay. This is a great story. This is more winning. This is one that was mentioned in the thumbnail that Trump had won. But I've got 2 links. There's one, and then there's one immediately after that. We'll pull up right after this. But essentially, victory. Paramount's forced to pay Trump $16 million after 60 Minutes misleadingly edited the Kamala Harris election interview. The money is going to go to Trump's presidential library. Now, close this one down. So Trump wins 16 mil, but it turns out it's a lot more than that, approaching 56 million that Trump has won from these absolute propagandist arms. And the truth is coming out. And the truth is, if you're right, why would you pay Trump anything? This is a huge win for Trump. Sue, can you, and I know it's killing Matthew Petty.
I don't see it.
He's just crying.
Mm-hmm.
It's right in the same link on the tail end of that one. The other one is called Jen Hoog status. Jen Hoog, yeah. This one goes into more detail about it. And so I wanted this one read as well. In 1224, ABC Disney quietly shelled out $15 million. CBS 60 Minutes added $16 million. Meta, Facebook, coughed up $25 million for suspending Trump's Facebook account on January 6, 2020. That's when you and I got booted off the Twitter platform. Yeah. And all the dollars awarded to Trump to build his future presidential library, rounding out a trifecta win of $56 million from corporate media imbeciles. So one by one, Trump has won these major lawsuits. One was against George Stephanopoulos, talking about the the idiot woman that claimed that he attacked her sexually. That idiot, that fucking retard. Anyway, so she got this thing, Stephanopoulos or whatever his idiot. He goes, Trump attacked this woman sexually.
That lawyer. I know what you're talking about.
And he broadcast.
Papadopoulos, I think it is.
What?
Papadopoulos?
No, it's George Stephanopoulos. Anyway, that idiot. Anyway, so he's on ABC or whatever the fuck. And he's saying Trump's a rapist on this Eugene Carroll idiot or whatever she is. And as it turns out, that was a lie. And Trump won big money there, too. I like this as well. Vinyl Gorilla writes, and he's given the money away, quote, to veterans. Well, that seems like a nice thing to do as well. So we're very, very happy about these decisions. Keep the winning going. Blake, anything to add to that story other than whoop, yay, good?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's a yay. I mean, the ridiculous attacks that had continued all through this 2016 to 2020 period, and the endless attacks that were baseless. These guys are being, Stephanopoulos. Yeah, George Stephanopoulos. I remember him from, he used to be an ABC guy, I think, but he worked in the Clinton administration.
He was in the Clinton. He was all part of that. Remember James Cavill? I call him Golem. He's always looking for his precious. Does that guy look like a freaking golem? I could just see him running over in a cave somewhere. My precious. He's just kind of a weird guy, James Cavill or Carville. But anyway.
He's looking pretty shriveled up these days. But he was the one that apparently coined the phrase that it's about the economy, stupid. Yeah. Though I've heard recently it wasn't him that actually stated that comment, but the Clinton and that campaign, just get to the economy and you'll win votes.
Rachel, you shouldn't be celebrating the death of democracy. Loki, you understand that democracy is a form of government created a bunch of homosexuals in Greece, right? So I celebrate the end of it. Let's have a republic.
Republic. You don't need
constitutional republic.
Tyranny of a democracy.
No tyranny of a mob.
No mob rule, buddy. Yeah. That's what the communists love, is they love their mob rule.
I know you're pro-buggery, but listen, Loki, just settle it. Just settle down there. I know you get all worked up. We got more good news. Oh, this is a fantastic. You want to see a Canadian? We had Canada's, 128 years? I don't know how old we are. 1867 to 2025. We just had another birthday for Canada Confederation.
158. Yep.
158 years old. Wow, whoop-de-doo. You got to politically clap Canada because I don't even like the country.
A blink in the eye of time, really.
Yeah. Okay, so it's called Canada Day. So this one's simply called Canada Day. You got
Dominion Day. Dominion Day.
Exactly. All right, here we go. And Vinyl Gorilla is correct. Democracy is mob rule. We don't like the mob. Most of the time they're blowing up Teslas. Check this lovely lady. Table Salt, I think he's out of Alberta. New. Woman goes viral for explaining why she's no longer excited for Canada Day. Covers it all in a marathon 2-minute post. Let the ladies speak. So
she's got her yellow stripe blue vest.
Safety, high visibility.
So it's Canada Day in Canada, and it feels bittersweet. A lot of the guys on site are asking me if I'm going to be celebrating Canada Day, and I'm like, what is there to celebrate, to be honest? Ever since 2020, the government pretty much told us how they felt about the unvaxxed, and the huge amount of numbers of people who still believe that in Canada is wild. Even though there's so much evidence against it, the government went into people's banks accounts, locked them up. And then the guy who literally called in for having banks accounts locked is now running the country, and he's a globalist from Europe who's trying to align Canada with Europeans, and European governments are the hotbed for the New World Order and absolutely tanking Western society. And somehow these newcomers to Canada can't even see it. I miss the old Canada. But this is just siphoning the middle class to pay for a bunch of illegal refugees pedophilia is being normalized in Canada. Drug addiction is okay. So many drugs. Crime is up. The economy's in the shitter, and all you have to do is go on CBS or CBC and tell the NPCs that that's not true, even though most of them are starving and can't pay their bills. They're still like, elbows up, even though Mike Myers was found on the P. Diddy list, but elbows up, right? I don't know, it just feels like for 5 years, some of us have been warning Canadians of which way it's going down, and there's just no waking up. So it just feels like a sinking ship. It's like watching a train wreck, right? But you can't really look away. Maybe September 1st, when Alberta became a province in Canada, or when it gains its independence, we can celebrate. But I just feel like there's not much to celebrate. You know what I mean? It's just become like this dark place where people say shit like freedom is racist. That was the number one saying in Canada in 2020 to 2023. They literally said freedom was racist. That's how you know you're becoming a communist country, is when you've got a populace who literally is voting against their own protection because they're literally just that. But anyways, those of you who are managing to find something to celebrate Canada Day with, I guess, happy Canada Day.
God bless her.
Good for her. Holy smokes. What a little firecracker. Gentlemen, if you're a Republican-minded, if you're a conservative-minded individual, there's a beautiful young gal for you. Holy smokes. What guy wouldn't want to snap that little cracker up? Well, there Vinyl Gorilla goes, I like that chick. Absolutely.
Put on your yellow vest, go learn how to drive a truck or work a backhoe, and go meet her.
Poor Pat's got a anecdotal report. Some clown overheard me talking about the origin story of Crocs in the film Idiocracy, right? You know, the little shoe with the holes in them. This person then retorted, when Trump wears Crocs, they're a crock of shit. What insight. Typical. I mean, he's not dealing with full, but that's like kind of thing that Loki would say. It's horrible. Horrible comment.
I do wish to comment on what she was saying, though.
Yeah, do.
One point. I can understand the Marxist ideology side that's being utilized to rally the far left lunatics that run around our country right now screaming and yelling. But essentially, it's an authoritarian regime backed by big global multinational corporate and banking interests. So really what you're seeing is more of a fascist type of government. That's exactly what we're seeing. So yeah, they're using Marxism to rally the youth in the universities, but all reality, social justice is usually the weapon. That's the weapon of choice right now. All of the government policies, because that creates wrong speech, that creates all the things to control everybody. But the big interests are using all of those useful idiots to get into this corporate monopoly that only a few will own. You own nothing and be happy. It comes right back to it. She's dead on. It is a dark period in Canadian history. And if anybody can't feel it, they're numb to reality. And hopefully there'll be a few liberals that will flip and learn quickly that, you're with the baddies, folks. You're with the baddies here in Canada. You need to figure that out quick, or else you're going to wake up and they'll be coming for you next.
Well, speaking of the baddies, bad boys, what you're going to do when they come for you. This is a story coming now. Make the video. Go Big Sue, play the video. It's self-explanatory.
Involved in a manhunt in Muskoka, what started in Huntsville with an armed home invasion, included an extensive OPP search past the home of Scott Graves, who came outside to see Highway 11 shut down.
I just figured it was an accident. That's quite frequent around here.
In fact, there was no accident. Police had pursued suspects driving south on the highway and knocked on his door with this warning.
He said that we need you to make sure you lock your doors. There's a shelter-in-place order. We have possibly 4 or 5 suspects armed with handguns in the area.
The warning lasted for hours. Police searched the wooded area for the man on the run. Motorists driving in the opposite direction captured the arrest of one suspect on Highway 11. The suspect's hands in the air.
Confirmed armed suspect on Cowbell Lane.
A second arrest took place on Cowbell Lane in Gravenhurst, a quiet street disrupted by morning drama and concern about safety. Police said very little until late afternoon, as cottage country residents wondered whether they were safe.
You got that on your mind, and then you start thinking, well, like, are my windows in my basement secure? Somebody could, your mind starts to go into that sort of mode.
The manhunt on Canada Day catching residents off guard. While violent crime is more common in a big city, it is unusual here.
It's very quiet, so for something like this to happen, it's quite a shock.
The OPP confirms it made 6 arrests after the armed home invasion, and more suspects are being sought, traveling in a silver Honda CRV with Ontario plates CZFE895. Their warning to anyone who sees it, call police. Sean O'Shea, Global News, Gravenhurst.
Okay, so Blake, what do the suspects look like? Can you give me a description of the suspects from that report?
Interesting. They are male.
We don't know. They didn't say that. They didn't even say that. They just said they were suspects.
Yep, suspects. Well, and of course, if they were not of the persuasion that they and were local boys with guns, then it would be right-wing, fanatical, white supremacist attack on democracy.
Yeah. We got a sad point of discussion here. I love Loki. Loki, I love you so much. This is going to hurt your feelings. Brad got picked up by ICE. He's been sent to Alligator Alcatraz. Brad Teal is surrounded by croc and gators, even as we speak. I hope he doesn't attempt any risky escape movement from the detention center because a python could get Brad Teal. Very frightening. Thank you, Loki. So no, he's not back. Look for him with a Florida residency. Probably just Google the number. Can I get the number to Alligator Alcatraz? My friend Brad is being held. Okay, we got another story. But, the story there, you got violence, you got a home invasion, 6 guys. This is no small potatoes thing. And you got no description provided to the public. So we can't even help the cops.
Well, it's funny.
But if
they were just showing a video just the other day, I think it was yesterday, day before, these guys just walk in and just help themselves to the liquor store in Ontario and walk right out, just shoving everybody out of the way.
Same as in California. There's tons of videos of the people going the usual suspects.
But you saw what they're doing in Florida now. So if you got the radical crazy start to surround your car, you have the right to drive over them to get the hell out of Dodge.
I saw a guy hit a guy with a golf cart today. He rode over him. The guy was damaging his house. He took his golf cart, drove the hell over the fucker. All right, here we go. CCFR, CCDAF. Thank God for that gun, says a woman, after 4 men armed with hammers smashed their way into her home. Her husband, a legal gun owner, didn't have time to load his shotgun, but pointed at the criminals who quickly took off. Maybe government will see, they never will, and change the law, they never will. Make her big, and let's roll the clip.
CCFR. This is surveillance video showing the moments several men armed with hammers stormed into an Etobicoke home. Inside the home at the time, a husband, wife, and their 11-year-old son. The family reached out to us to share their story. Still too shaken to show her face publicly.
I can't sleep, I can't eat.
This Etobicoke mom reached out to Speaker's Corner to share.
Saturday, 21st June. 4:36 a.m.
Her family's 17 seconds of terror.
The most terrible seconds in my life. We hear smash.
That smash their patio door.
It was 4 men with hammers.
They stormed into the couple's bedroom.
Kitchen area, my living room area. I saw 4 guys with all black. So I just thinking about my son who slept in near room. So he's 11 years old. I was thinking just how can I come this room, but I scared.
Her husband, a legal gun owner, jumped into action. He grabbed the gun, which was not loaded.
Yes, because we didn't have time to do it, because it was just few seconds.
But he aimed it at the group as if to shoot them.
And when they saw gun, they immediately turn around and go from my house.
Nothing but this family's sense of security was stolen.
I don't know how can I live. I think I need sessions for psychologists, for me, for myself, for my son, especially because he was scared.
Toronto police have not announced any arrests and say the investigation is ongoing. But this family story resembles several others City News has shared with you from other communities recently. A similar home invasion, in fact, in Markham occurred the very next day. In April, a group of men, also armed with hammers, entered a Scarborough home, injuring 2 residents. Back in Etobicoke, this mom blames the criminal justice system, saying more needs to be done to secure neighborhoods and increase punishment for criminals caught.
It's criminal situation in this country. It's terrible. I hope maybe government will see what's happened. I have hope maybe government will change law. So we pay taxes, we pay everything for security also, but no one secure us.
Anyone with information in any of these cases is asked to call Crime Stoppers or Toronto Police.
So can we have a description of the perpetrators? Is there a description anywhere?
That's right. Did they ever get caught? But this is in Ontario. They have a high problem with auto theft. In home invasion auto theft, they just break into your house, they demand the keys, and they take off with your vehicles. And this just recently happened in Toronto, and a guy actually came out with a gun, shot it in the air to scare the guys away.
Yeah.
And who is going to be doing more time than the actual criminals?
Yeah.
The guy defending his property
from
these criminals, like we just saw. And this is a problem. At least Doug Ford in the liberal conservative or whatever you want to call him, at least stood up and said
hold on.
that needs
why
to
did
stop.
Doug Ford? Why did he do that?
Because he's going to run for the Conservative Party federally.
No,
because he got his place. He got his car robbed.
He got his car robbed by a bunch of thugs, and now he goes, "Oh, now it's personal."
That's right. It affects me. It affects all of it.
Because it affects me personally. My car got all hurt.
But he knows it's a popular thing because Harper brought it in about self-defense. You're allowed to defend yourself if you're attacked at your store or in your house. And then as soon as the Liberals came in under, the clown in chief, Trudeau, they got rid of those laws to protect yourself. And essentially you could go to jail for defending yourself.
Well, I need you so dearly to defend yourself right now. I have never seen an attack this vicious. Blake, you're a prize moron. That's ridiculous, but you can't articulate any rationale for it whatsoever. Very poor indeed. Then he doubles down. Rachel, if you apply the merest gossamer, and I think Gorilla's right, gossamer of logical framework to anything blank, that is pejorative. That is a hurtful comment to Blake, who could possibly be a very good friend of you, Loki, if you give him a chance. He's a sweet boy. Jonathan Blake says, it evaporates under the stream. Why persist? Go ahead, Blake. Take it on.
Well, it must be saying the right things then if he's happy about it.
Loki, you're doing just fine, son.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
you're just inspiring. But I saw somebody post on X probably about a week ago, the way Trump's going, eventually Canada will become an open carry state.
Well, I tell you,
you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you push people so far. I mean, and that's about the extent of it, right? Blake, one of the great things I know you and I are very much in favor and concerned about climate change, they call it. I know Greta Thunberg is a personal hero to both of us. Sue, can you grab up climate change dollars? Let's see how effective our Canadian dollars are for the cause of climate change. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, let's take a look. I expect it's going to go quite well. I know the money's being put to good use. Let's read it. The Toronto Sun. Interesting, it's only got a blue check mark. It doesn't have the gold media check mark, even though this is a paper. 300 million federal climate programs failed to produce new jobs or lower emissions, according to a report that they're reporting on. 300 million federal climate programs failed to produce any new jobs or lower emissions, begging the question, Where is this money going for?
Well,
Why
we know it's the Canadian version of U.S. aid. It's the same crap.
Wow.
It's a funding machine to pay off all your supporters and all these bullshit contracts that you see given out to professors to keep propagating the message. It's to keep the loyalists paid and doing their activism. That's exactly what it is. There's going into nothing. It's just another wasteful patronage type of system, and that's 300 million federally. Add up the money that some of these provinces are spending on, like our favorite province where we live, British Columbia, where they spent tens of millions of dollars to friends and colleagues in the industry to keep them loyal. But yeah, that's a Doge number one for Canada, to clean that up, because look how much has our weather changed because of the taxation that they've created.
That's exactly what the article's saying. At least according to this study, 300 million went into the air. It just evaporated. Colossal waste. And this is the government. This is how it affect.
Well, I doubt it evaporated. I'm sure it went into some politicians' pockets.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's kickbacks and all these things. We know that. Yeah. I mean, it's so corrupt. It's so thick with corruption. But on a note of good news, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of programs that do nothing but line people's pockets, breaking: USAID is no longer giving out any funds, per Secretary of State Marco Rubio. In other words, USAID is dead, effectively DOA. Tremendous news. Of course, this was a money laundering operation. This hurts the war chest for the Dems, because there's a lot of money laundering associated with this. And had you heard, Blake, that Act Blue was under investigation? Act Blue was under investigation. Now, Sue, while we're doing the show, can you just do a quick look while Blake and I are kind of rapping about this and the other thing? Just see how we're doing with the big, beautiful bill. Hopefully we've got the votes in. They're voting on it right now. People are making their speeches, going ahead. And we're seeing some indication that some hardline Republicans that were more uncommitted to it are flipped and supporting the president with it now. Okay.
Just to Loki's point there, I bet you those losses are in Dem-run states.
Yeah, take a look at your state, Loki, and break it down a little bit there. Getting rid of USAID was the first step in draining the swamp. It had to be done. Now, so what have you got for us here?
So this is 50 an hour ago. So I don't know where we're. I don't know if that's the most
recent. Yeah.
But
okay, well, here's where we were an hour ago. Anyway, let's take a look. 2016 yes votes. 2 more votes will secure the big bill. Moving on to the next round of voting. They got that. That was that they obtained that.
Okay.
We need 218. We're at 214. That they got the votes they needed. It did go into the next. It's moved on now. So we're going to have to find out where that is at this time.
Okay, well, I'll keep looking.
Don't believe in me. Believe in the Lord Jesus. That's the way to do it. Listen, I'm not just a crazy ass tranny, woman of color living on the West Coast of Canada, doing the best I can with what little reserves I have. But thank you for the endorsement, Frank. We love you. Is this the best you can do? Well, on short notice, Ringo. You're just throwing the story up now. We want to break that down and find out exactly where the loss was, because we know that $221 billion in tariff monies were obtained by the U.S. government. I think over the last 2 months. So we'll see. And there's more coming in, of course.
I think you should play a bit of Rush right now. It's all about a best I can. It's a wonderful song.
Yeah, they will get. They'll use anything excuse to block. Yeah. But Rush rocks. We know that.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to wait for more. Wolfie, keep checking in on the big beautiful bill for us, man. I'm curious about that. Okay. Chinese espionage in the U.S. That's a kind of a fun story. Have you heard about?
I never even knew about that.
Well, this is an ongoing story. We know that God, I never remember her name. Dianne Feinstein, out in California, she had a Chinese spy working for her for 20 years as a chauffeur. Apparently, she didn't know about it. I think she did. I think that allegedly the Chinese driver could have been a liaison between her and Chinese agents in order to facilitate funds, money. I'll slap your wrist, you give me mine. Everything's going to be good.
We'll get laws passed for you. But she's another poster child for term limits right there.
Well, she's dead, so God term limited her. Thank God. And then the other thing is we got, of course, Eric Swalwell with Fang Fang, of course, sleeping with the enemy. That was a fun one. So
how do these I was just going to say, how do these Dems get these names like Swallowwell and remember Anthony Weiner?
Yeah, Weiner. Absolutely. Holy fuck. Somebody goes, what were they saying? Some politician was running New York and they were being outgunned by a guy with the unfortunate name of Harvey Epstein. Harvey Epstein. He says, the Harvey Epstein defeated this Democrat. But anyway, that's kind of funny. He goes with the unfortunate name. Okay, as promised, I want to provide an update on our efforts to defend the homeland, protect the American people from foreign intel. This is your FBI, and you deserve to know about the work we're doing every day to keep our country and citizens safe. Today, we announced 2 arrests, the execution of 8 search warrants, San Francisco, Houston, Portland, San Diego as parts of our disruption of a sophisticated gang, a ring of Chinese government agents. I got one liner. Ancient Chinese secret, huh? Okay. Our Chinese government agents trying to recruit U.S. military service members to betray their country by committing espionage, right? So get these soldiers to turn. We're mission focused on keeping our nation's secrets, technology, and data out of the hands of foreign intelligence agents. That's crucial, protecting America's military and technological advantage over adversaries like China, Iran, Russia, and North Korea. Since the beginning of 2025, we have arrested 51
interesting number
foreign intelligence agents 51. For activities. Yeah, there's that 51 spying on America, stealing our tech, financing policies through economic espionage, that's influence peddling, and theft of trade secrets, harassing, stalking, intimidating people living in our great country as part of transnational repression, stealing U.S. government classified national defense. On and on it goes. They're a bunch of bad boys, but the arrests are happening. They are getting to it. Dan Bongino, Sue, do you just put a link in there of that for the kids, and then they can read the rest of that. Blake, you've got to be encouraged by that.
Oh, it's about time. Let's get them all. China has been running a reverse engineering system for quite some time with big business, and if anybody wants to go produce anything in China, you're getting all of your information taken out the back door for them to produce your goods through counterfeit systems for half the price. It is I don't understand how the world embraced China when they were doing this, and they've been doing it for a long time. Like, it's just been tolerated. But now they're in our countries. They're in the Western world. They've infiltrated our universities, our political and cultural institutions. They're in our businesses. And that's the problem. When you allowed such an open door policy to a hostile regime, that's what's going to happen. So now it's time to get them out. And I agree with Kevin O'Leary at getting back to Canada and the US, and we need to work together to create Fortress North America and unify our economies so that we can take on the Chinese. The Chinese are the biggest threat in the world geopolitically right now. And but we need to stand up to them and no more of this stuff. And that should be part of the tariff conversation. I hope Trump's telling them, any more of your spies, every time we find a spy, tariff's going up 100%. So they either call them all home, or we're going to tariff the hell out of your country so much. So if we find 1,000, you'll be paying 1,000,000% tariff. How's that? That's the kind of language, but I hope it's encouraging to hear that. I just hope our own crazy local governments in Canada get the message as well and stop supporting the China program.
We got Loki very frightened. His little logo. Look at that cute logo. It's from a band, Loki tells me, over in Europe or something. Isn't that cute? It's jumping on a record. It's just so adorable. Loki, you're adorable. The stock markets are up, Loki. The administration is winning. The world is winning. Absolutely. This is the greatest president of my lifetime. And what a week of winning it's been. Of course, we got the beautiful thumbnail on here. Question from Wolfie. Is it true that all Chinese tourists are obligated to spy for the CCP if asked to do so according to Chinese law? I do not know, but I do know this. I did read where university students, if they go over, it is incumbent upon them. In fact, it's actually a requirement. If you're going to be a foreign student, you have to spy on behalf of the government.
And in Canada, we have active Chinese police stations in Vancouver.
Okay, now tell us about that, Blake. You got anything to support that? Where are you hearing this? Here we got a source.
Oh yeah,
lots of sources. Look, you'll eat us alive if we don't.
Yeah, no, go look it up. The Chinese
look it up, Loki.
have been operating out of Vancouver and getting to go after Chinese dissidents in Canada. They want to be able to arrest them, but they're operating here as well, and that's what's crazy. But that kind of stuff. But it's true. Remember, the people who get to exit visas out of China, they have to be loyalists. You can't just leave just because you're anybody can leave China to go travel the world. They do have to leave. They have a social credit system there. Remember that. If you're a good citizen of China, you get all the extras.
Yeah, and this is the other thing, of course, Loki, once you understand that the Fed is retarding, and that's a good word for you, retarding the American economy, Trump has already said, you're holding us back by billions of dollars. If you raise the interest rate, or lower the interest rate, the economy is going to have some buoyancy to it because the economy is red hot right now. The markets are all up. Things are going exceptionally well. Here is a link for that. CBC Canada reporting British Columbia, China operating police stations in Vancouver. Sue, can you bring that up? That is so interesting. What Blake
is terrifying.
Well, I mean, it begs the question. Talk about pressure. Then you put the screws onto your Chinese nationals here in Canada, and they got to spy. They got to cause a lot of trouble.
It's so bad. The Canadian government was training Chinese military on our grounds. So I mean, it was crazy.
So the headline here, this is coming from CBC. China is operating police station out of Vancouver. A civil rights group alleges the group has documented 5 Chinese-operated police stations in Canada. This dates back to what's the
2022.
Date? Yeah, but October. What's the date on the article? It's December 5th, 2022. So
a year and a half ago.
Yeah, right. I mean, and if they were operating them then, I suspect that they're still up and running to this very day.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, this has been going on.
Revealing the existence of 48 Chinese police stations being operated overseas.
How many are?
48.
48 police stations are being operated.
Not in Canada, but overseas.
Overseas. So, I mean, that could be anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're overseas from China.
Yeah.
So.
This is where you're wrong. The stock market rebounded when it became obvious. No, the tariffs are working to the tune of $221 billion. I'll play the clip for you. You missed yesterday's episode where we played it. $221 billion tariffs. Hang on, USA. Let's get it. God, it's so hard to go out here with this.
I can look.
Yeah, can you do it on the X platform? 221 billion was the number. Because I recall it that was in the clip we showed, and it's on yesterday's show where we actually brought it. And again, I believe it was MSNBC that reported it, and the girl was kind of shocked that this was what was happening. And she showed a graph, and it showed the income coming in, and then Trump, second term, just rocketing through the tariffs. It's irrefutable, Loki. It just kicks your ass clear across the floor. But it does so in a gentle way that you would love and find comforting.
This one will do the trick.
All right, you got one that'll do the trick, Scusi?
Well, apparently Trump's goal would love to see tariffs remove income tax altogether on citizens. So
you realize this is a money to the government. It's not taxes, not our money. Breaking, CNBC just admitted Trump's tariffs have brought in over $121 billion for the U.S. Trump was right. The experts were wrong. Loki was wrong. Trump has been right about everything. I'm 100% for this, America first. And of course, that's got a guy just reporting on it. But the story I saw was it was poetry, because it actually had the fucking liberal MSNBC having to eat their words and watch Trump victory. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And what these people represent, we have to understand it. It gets back to the whole message all along. It's this globalist viewpoint. They have all their money invested in China and overseas countries to produce all their cheap crap to bring back and sell here. So a lot of those jobs that may be disappearing are those companies that are allied to producing all their goods in places like China. So stop producing in China, build your factories in the U.S., and you'll be fine.
Yeah, here's the clip. Let's play. Roll the tape. Make it big and roll the tape. This for you, Loki.
Look how much we've been collecting in revenues. And I did this in part because Wilfred's here and he can talk about the UK trade deal. But just this is the monthly numbers. And they have gone up a lot. June is actually set for another big increase of $27 billion. That is money coming into U.S. coffers from tariffs. We are collecting a lot of revenue. So far, guys, $121 billion has flowed into the U.S. government since the start of the fiscal year. It's still a tiny portion of the overall revenues that the U.S. government gets, but it's increasingly a lot, especially we haven't seen it in terms of the consumer paying off higher inflation. Look how much we've been collecting.
All right. Yeah, Loki, you're wrong about this. Hey, Rachel, everyone knows the high levies can cause huge short-term surge in revenue. Loki, picture a poker table, right? You're the guys who are sitting at the table. Trump holds all the cards. Where is Canada going to go, for example? Especially when the EU is just caused it is carbon tax. We can't deal with the EU. They don't have the economy. What is Canada? Where do we buy most of our stuff from, Blake?
We trade almost 80% with the U.S.
And the U.S. has like a 1.3% of all their trade or income for GDP is coming, or whatever, the income that they're gaining through trade with foreign nations. 1.3 of that is coming through Canada.
Well, and there's one thing, the big card. What is it? The U.S. dollar is the world currency.
It's the world currency, yeah.
It is the currency that the world trades with right now. BRIC nations have been trying to do their own thing. The BRICS are going to fail because the U.S. is too powerful even for those guys combined. If you got China, Brazil, India, and Russia all trying to create their own currency. But the big thing is, look how Saudi Arabia is reacting. They were playing footsies with the BRIC nations under Biden. Now they're like, no, we're with Trump. Just you saw, that was a big sign. That wasn't just because they're respecting his authority, is because they respected the direction he's going, and they didn't like what was going the other direction under Biden and the Democrats. That they were going to crush the world's reserve currency, being the U.S. dollar. So this is really world changing. And that's why Trump, I don't think Trump, even though he says, I'm a tariff guy, that's just part of his negotiation tactic. I think he just wants fair trade for everybody. Like, basically, we want to sell American goods in your country, so don't tariff it anymore. We want to go reciprocity 100%. He's a true classic liberal. And that's what classic liberals believed, is that you should be able to trade. If you want to do business with us, it's free trade, true free trade, no strings attached, reciprocity. Our goods sell in your country without tariffs, vice versa. And we'll do a deal with you. But if you're going to play games like Canada has been, we just want to reserve these farmers and protect this class of voters in Quebec because of dairy, or we want to do this, control our supply management, just like China's doing it, just like Japan, all of them have done it. But look what's happening. As soon as Trump sends out that broadcast message, everybody, you have till July 9th to come back and tell us if you're in or you're out, or else the tariffs are going up on your countries. Most of them are replying frantically right now. You watch the next 7 days is going to be dramatic, as a lot of these countries' trade barriers are going to collapse. They're going to collapse.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Blake, for that. We've got another story to add into thing. Natalia is writing, Canadians, so far Trump has made Canada drop a digital services tax, made Canada drop the carbon tax, exposed Canada as a fentanyl hub that trivially few Canadians even knew about, internationally exposed Canada as the liberal dystopia it actually is. Trump will force Canada to drop this disastrous EV mandate. Trump will force Canada to end the dairy cartel bullshit. That's what you were talking about, Blake. Made liberals look like the fucking morons they are. As a Canadian, Trump is, quote, my president. He's put more money back in my pocket than any liberal government ever would. What have I missed? Nothing as far as I can see. Well done. Well stated, Natalia. But, you know, this is absolutely fantastic. You know what I love also, Sue, is the respect that the Saudis showed the president in the beast riding down with those line of palm trees on either side. It was glorious. Absolutely wonderful.
The chair of OPEC. I mean, that's literally what you're looking at. It's the most powerful nation when it comes to petroleum is Saudi Arabia. And there's another interesting development with Trump, and it may have quietly went under the radar screen of many because the Canadian government will never want to talk about this in their national media propagandists that are pushing liberal crap. But did you see that Trump passed he approved the permit to open up the Keystone Pipeline again between Alberta and the U.S.? Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
So Tarney can't stop that one because that will be on the trading block. You can guarantee this time if you try to block that one, we'll just tariff the hell out of you again. But look, pull that one up if you want to find that one. But that's a big news because Alberta is talking independence. I'm not talking about the Alberta government, but the people of Alberta are talking to become potentially the first.
Well, I think there's a referendum.
51st state.
Yeah, they're talking referendum in 2026. So next year, apparently it's already set. The government, for their part, are already starting to bolster. It's like a river that's starting to fill up, and they're starting to sandbag in preparation, using a similar legal tack that they used to hamstring Quebec from leaving Canada. And ultimately, it turned out that they didn't require it. Rachel, make Blake say reciprocity again.
Yeah, sorry, I was going
it's
too quickly.
Reciprocity, okay? Yeah. Look, the man's on fire. He's got so much truth hitting you, Loki. You can't tell what it's coming at you quick and fast and furious. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. Go big. Oh my God, it's Smoking Joe. Breaking President Trump just announced to bring back the Keystone XL pipeline, which Joe Biden shut down. Our country's doing really well, and today I was just thinking that the company building the Keystone XL pipeline that was viciously jettisoned by the incompetent Biden administration should come back to America and get it built.
Please.
Now, I know they were treated very badly by Sleepy Joe Biden, but the Trump administration is very different. Easy approvals, almost immediate start. If not them, perhaps another pipeline company. We want the Keystone XL pipeline built. XL built. So we want it built.
Well, he did it. He just announced that he's opened up the lease just in the last 2 days.
Holy smokes. I'm excited about that. I know you are. Holy smokes. You know, Blake, also, gosh, I better do a commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, please support the program. What do we got here? Hold on. Let's get this up. I got a thing for you, Blake. Okay, I got to have that up. And I got to go here. And then I got to go here. That's what I want. Okay, everybody this is the one that I like. And they're going for I'd love to get one for Loki. And look at that, but it's got the black and white stripe. This is the retro t-shirt, that model that you can get. Apparently, Etsy's got a whole bunch of great models as well. But it comes in any number of sizes to fit all of you, especially our plus-size gals out there. Anyway, just fantastic. We just love that.
Oh, they had a pink color one. You could get that one for Loki.
Oh, yeah, you could just get it for the lady in your life. Yeah, Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz shirt. Okay. Biden should be in Mount Rushmore. I don't know if they should bury him there, but interesting idea. Hey, did anybody see the latest situation with Biden? There's something weird going on with Biden again.
Oh, that weird picture that somebody showed
let's
him.
get the weird picture of Biden.
I think he might be a wax figure.
I don't know what happened. And he's all buggy. He's gone bug-eyed and everything. He just went all wacky.
They tanned him up too a bit.
That's the whole thing. Biden photo. Let's see.
There's always been a bit of a tinfoil hat conspiracy that there's been people perpetrating the fake Bidens that are dressed up with makeup.
Yeah.
You know, they're fake. But
we're not going there. I don't know why I can't find this because I put it. It's already probably been scrubbed.
Off X? No.
What's that?
It was on X. The picture. I saw it. I just saw it too.
Oh, did you again?
This morning, I think it was. Yeah.
I just went and put Biden photo, and I'm getting nothing. Biden picture. Let's try that picture.
It was early this morning. Somebody
that's when I
said, "What's wrong with them?" Kind of picture, like, who is this guy?
I had a bit of a giggle when I saw it. Anyway, currently I can't find it. So that's the way things go in Hollywood.
Can we go with our Justice Minute, please?
Okay, what do we got here?
Justice Minute.
Justice Minute. What's the Justice Minute? I'm curious about this now. A Florida.
The golf cart.
I don't want to show it now. We're on YouTube. I would love to show it, but because we're on YouTube, they'll give us shit.
We're not showing it. Just read the thing then.
Well, the guy. Okay, I'll just tell the story. So I alluded to this earlier. There's some idiots throwing stuff through the guy's window, like he's breaking his window. He's throwing stuff, damaging guy's house property, and he's not looking. He's cold cocked by this guy who runs him over with his golf cart. It's fucking hilarious. But because of that, YouTube would go, "Oh, this is so violent," because YouTube's a little light in the loafers. It wouldn't be able to handle it. Okay, I need an alligator Alcatraz shower curtain. That would be incredible with a neat logo. I'd make it a round one. God, I should do my own alligator Alcatraz merch, and we could sell it on the program, Blake. Always. All right, Blake. Any other stories that you'd like to call into hand? That we haven't covered so far.
No, I think that's good. I was just trying to see if I could find that Biden photo because it's pretty creepy.
It's a good photo. It's funny as fuck because he's so lost. He's lost in space. He looks like the little nut that went and shot up Columbine or one of those schools. He just looks nice. Hey, Sue. One last time before we go, can you just take a look out there on the X platform? Maybe I'll run along and just see the House vote latest.
Well, there was one other news that I thought was odd, but the shooter who was shooting up the firefighters in Idaho, apparently his social media was all scrubbed, but the media was immediately trying to paint it as some right-wing white supremacist, and there's no evidence at all of who this guy is and why he would have done that. And but there's the usual suspects where you see the media trying to cover up and quietly bury that story of who that person really is. So we see that too often.
I'm just looking through here. Legislation passed the Senate 5150. VP Pence cast a tie-breaking vote. Returned the House for final approval. Dems are united opposition will use all available procedural tools to try to unblock the bill. All they need are 4 House Republicans to join them in defense of their constitution. So we've got a united Democrat Party, we've got a fragmented Republican Party as usual, and that's making it difficult. So I don't know, man. Still not in, basically. At the time of this broadcast, still not in. So we'll wait. We'll see if it passes. Fingers crossed. I hope it goes through. The Lord's will be done.
Hold on. We got to give you this link. You got to put this up. This is a good final picture.
Final picture of the show. Okay, so Blake's just dropped it in the private chat. So. And again, I want to say thanks to Sue and to all our friends out there. Please give us a thumbs up. I'm talking to you, Loki. And subscribe and share this because we're throttled like hell on YouTube. There's no movement on this channel on YouTube at all. But at least we get to voice our opinion, have some fun, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay, Blake, what do we got here? Holy smokes. It would be beneficial to compare the holding facilities under the Biden-Obama administration with Florida's built. Florida's facilities are notably superior. Hey, Tom Ullman, what time's breakfast? Good Lord. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I'm so sorry. Could you imagine the outrage as soon as one of them little visitors to the detention tries to make a break for it, becomes an alligator sandwich? The liberals are going to freak out. It'll be the story of a lifetime. That'll be great. Holy smokes. But anyway, yeah, we're all excited about it. Holy smokes, you're going to compare alligator Alcatraz to Auschwitz? Loki, do some real history reading. Stop reading Marx and Engels, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, for Blake, myself, and of course, my lovely wife, Sue, thanks for watching the show, and we'll be back tomorrow. Do we get you tomorrow on the noon?
Yeah, no, we'll be here all week.
Right. 12 noon Pacific tomorrow. We'll be there. Thanks, everybody. We love you. Take care. Loki, we love you.